Yeah, let's see here. And I will be muting, or not, excuse me, stopping the video for me so that way I don't have any distractions. So, thank you all for being here and for taking time out of your busy schedules tonight. We will be using the chat function. So as you hear something or as I ask you questions, go ahead and just drop it into the chat. So that way I know that you are tracking. I know that we are listening. And if you need to grab a pen, a notebook, a piece of paper, or something to that effect to take some notes, this is a time to actually grab that so that way you don't miss anything in this interpersonal strategies webinar that I am giving you all tonight. So, here is the topic of the webinar is the interpersonal effectiveness strategies hosted by me. I'm affectionately called the Slay Queen. My name is Rochelle Hemingway. And so I put this together so that way we can start to really niche. I know we've heard this word before, but we're going to niche down to some of these interpersonal skills that we need to master and leverage to get what we want and what we need. Because everybody wants what they want, right? And they want what they need. Put a one in the chat if you're tracking me with me on that. So here, when you play the game of chess, and how many of us have already know how to play the game of chess? If you could put yes in the chat, if you know how to play the game, the aim is to move those pieces, y'all, so that so that they checkmate the opponent's king, which is when the king can't move anymore because friendly pieces surround it. Now, there are a few other ways to win, such as capturing all the opponent's pieces or forcing the opponent to forfeit, but checkmating the king is the most common way. I always talk, hey, Dana, I always talk from strategy. Okay, I'm a strategist. That means tonight we're going to start the journey of checkmating all the obstacles, adversities, negative thinking, and struggles to achieve your dreams, goals, aspirations by leveraging and mastering focus, empathy, and self respect. So I want you all to put into the chat which one of these interpersonal skills do you want to leverage and master to get what you want and what you need. Which one of these interpersonal skills are you struggling with the most that you're like, I want to get this thing right. Chevy's got focus in here. Okay. You're going to get that focus. Who else is going to go ahead and put out what is it that you are struggling with the most? Yolanda says focus too. Dana says focus. Yes, Queens. The reason why is because it's so much going on. D consistently focus. Yes, ma'am. And she put that in bold letters consistently. Because once we start doing something, we may be good at it for a minute, then all of a sudden we are falling off the wagon. All right. Because we just said, oh my goodness, there's a lot going on, right? So we are going to specifically be talking this through because in today's world, it is becoming more and more difficult to stay focused on work and life issues due to the many distractions that are in existence. Just think about it, y'all. We have emails that are constantly popping up in our inboxes. Our phones are constantly dinging from text messages and notifications. I bet they going off right now. Our work is calling us, wanting to do more tasks. We spend hours and hours scrolling on the internet, looking for those perfect pair of shoes. I know I'm speaking for myself when I say that. That was a me thing in there, y'all. We can't wait to binge on our Netflix series. We're taking care of our families and our loved ones. We're holding up the sign saying help because it is a lot, and people are using our energy and messing with our peace. So we are so distracted that we can't even get in a workout. So what are we doing? What are we really doing? Well, because so many of the things are keeping us distracted, our brain is always trying to find the answers to the many questions that we are asking ourselves. Should I answer this phone call or text message? Should I answer this email? Should I do the laundry or the dishes first? Should I continue with this conversation with someone who drains me? All these questions in our head and in our brains wants to find the answer. No wonder it's so hard to get anything done half of the time. So, the first required must learn skill we need to master to get what we want and what we need is focus. Did you know? Oh, Lord, y'all, I went all the way. I'm glad I'm with family here. Y'all are my family members. Let me get to where I need. Did you know that it takes 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully recover after a distraction? Let me repeat that. Did you know that it takes 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully recover after a distraction? So, how many times do you think you're interrupted or distracted during the day? Put it in the chat. How many times has somebody come up to you and asking you to stop what you're doing so that way you can work on something else that they want you to be working on? All right. How many times is your family, they see you working, you got the door closed, they knocking on the door, all right, wanting your attention, your full undivided attention. All right. And yeah, Dorita D said way too many times. Dana says at least 3 to 4 times. And this is absolutely uh something that I know happens to me quite a lot. And I had to do some looking into this, but it is the research shows that people are interrupted or distracted at least 3 to 4 times a day, which means when you start doing the math, okay, now I don't do public math, but when I start doing the math, it equals to about 2.5 hours per day that we are losing because folks are disrupting us and distracting us, or devices are disrupting us from doing what we have said we needed to be doing. So, this is what we're missing out on. We missing out on opportunities. We are less productive. We wasting all kinds of time. We have no motivation to do what we want to be doing. We unhappy with ourselves and the fact that we can't get those things accomplished. We lack the confidence, to tell folks, I'm working on something here, right? Because we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. And so we were like, okay, and this is the responsibility I'm supposed to have, which all leads to money. Now, money is not simply money. And I know the credit fix chick is in here, and she know money is not simply money. Money represents freedom, power, status, security, love, joy, and much more. And it's whatever it means to you. So when we are getting distracted and interrupted on tasks that we know that we need to put our full attentions to, that's what we're missing out on. And I'm telling you, I'm not trying to leave no money on the table. Okay. So we need to figure out how we're going to get it done. So I'll tell you this. When Master Sergeant Jeba Lenasaw, she reached out to me because she needed support to apply for a special duty position in the Air Force, which is an increase in money, power, and status. She attended my signature 4-week mentorship course, and as a result, she was able to stay focused on her goal, find her voice and strength, and get selected for that position. And the first sergeant position is one of the highly coveted roles in the United States Air Force. So she was like, I love every bit of it. So let's go over a few ways we can become less distracted, y'all. Okay. So well, there's some solutions to this, and we've all heard of this. But I want you to take out your pen and piece of paper, your notebook, or whatever you have handy. I want you to put down at least a couple of goals that you are searching to achieve over the next, I would say, the next 6 months or so to a year. All right. And once you put those goals down and you've already have it in your head, let's talk about some of the solutions that you can start to do in your daily interactions, your daily life. Well, first of all right, we're going to need to do a wellness assessment. Now, I should just put this as a separate thing and just say, you know what? You need to start here. You need to start at the assessment. And what I mean by this is before I retired from the military, I realized I only had focused on four of the eight dimensions of wellness. So typically we think of having physical, emotional, spiritual, and social wellness, but we also need to be mindful of our occupational, intellectual, environmental, and financial wellness. Because if any of these eight areas are neglected, we'll be off centered, preventing us to show up and show out in the best version of ourselves. All right. So if you want to do a personal assessment, you can rate your wellness in those eight categories. Again, we have physical, emotional, spiritual, social, occupational, intellectual, environmental, and financial. And so once you do a scale of 1 to 10 of where you're at, if any of the areas below a 5, you take some time to analyze why and start adjusting to improve. All right. So we can also do one task at a time. You can limit social media. All right. Be present in the moment. Take short breaks. Reduce one distraction. You don't have to do all, but maybe one. Try some mindfulness or breathing techniques and perhaps set a timer using the Pomodoro technique. All right. So everyone know what the Pomodoro technique is? If you if you know, put one. If you don't know, put two. All right. D knows one. Okay. She's got one. She knows. Who else? If you know what this is, okay. Yolanda says two. She's not quite sure what this one is. So let me just, and Dana says two. Okay. The Pomodoro technique consists of setting a timer. So get a timer either on your phone or on your watch or whatever, however you track your time. And you set your timer for 25 minutes. And then you get to work. I mean, your head is down. You got the sign on the door. You're telling folks, hey, I am not trying to be disturbed. Okay. You have a family meeting. You let folks know that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 25 minutes. If you got to put your phone in the other room and not let it ding, that's what you need to be doing. And then you work for 25 minutes. And at the buzzer, or when the time ends, you take 5 minutes. And after the 5 minutes, you're going to set the timer again and you're going to put your head down and put the sign back on the door and you're going to get back to work. All right. For 25 minutes. So you're going to do 25 minutes, 5 minutes off, 25 minutes, 5 minutes off, and you're going to do 4 rounds of that. And then after the fourth round, you're going to take a longer break for 20 to 30 minutes. I do this a lot. Okay. Because you get up to stretch, you get up to you like, kind of just re-energize yourself, get some water, maybe do some breathing techniques, whatever you need to get back into the work. So now that you know, it's called the Pomodoro, and I'm gonna type it in the chat here for you all to kind of look up if you want more information. Technique. And it has proven me well, y'all. I absolutely do this at least once a day. So when you don't see me on social medias and stuff like that, I got my head down, okay? And there's a lot going on here, but that's what has allowed me to stay focused. Okay, so I want you to take out your piece of paper and I'm gonna write down at least one or two of these items in here. So if you have struggles and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to try this, I want you to pick one or two of those items. Put them in the chat, which one or two that you are going to implement in your daily interactions to achieve the goals you selected at, just those 6 months to 1 year goals that you put down on your piece of paper. So go ahead and write it into the chat. If you can write it in the chat, what's one or two things that you're going to do from this slide here, all right, that you're thinking, hey, you know what? I'm going to try this. All right. I don't see anything coming up. Are we here, y'all? Everyone good? Okay. So, okay. Dana says reduce one distraction. Yes. Okay. Chevy's still here. Reduce one distraction. All right. Pomodoro technique and be present in the moment. Love it. Love it. I think there's a lag in between when y'all put it in and when I see it. So I see you. Okay. So everyone good, right? So is this helpful so far? Is this helpful for you all? So that way that take shorter breaks. Yep. Reduce distraction. Love it. Yes. Okay, Dana. Yes. She says yes. Dee says yes. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So as we're moving forward, all right, and we just talked about the focus element. Um, you all may be wondering what qualifies me to speak to these required skills. Well, during and after I retired from serving in the Air Force for 30 years, I am 100% certain I've been able to accomplish many things by leveraging focus, empathy, and self-respect, which the other two we're going to speak to in a minute, and to what I do every day. So I served in some highly coveted roles while I was in the military, and after I retired, I found that I was busy at work doing a whole lot of things, y'all. I started a business, all right, and y'all know it's called Slate to Success. It's a leadership and transformational consultant business, and I'm now empowering women with unconventional leadership mindset and wellness strategies to step up and into their next big dream and to position with 10x confidence. And I use it with the basic life and leadership philosophies, aka, y'all know what it is, put it in the chat, which means to kill it, to dominate, and to nail it, to impress greatly, to be on point, to dream and work hard until you own it. Yes. And I started speaking on various platforms. I self-published my first book, y'all. I secured a consultant contract to teach leadership. I started a women's empowerment program. I completed my master's of science degree in strategic leadership. This has all been since I retired, and I retired in October 2021. But what I know is all of this requires a lot of focus, building the right connections as I'm going along the way, and really taking care of myself. So I think I've got this, mastered and I'm leveraging it. And I want you all to master and leverage it too, because you all have things that you want to be doing and you don't want to be wasting any more of your precious time on this one life that we are living here. So I think the next must learn skill we can leverage and master to get what we want and need is empathy. Okay. Empathy brings more ease and understanding to our life and to our relationship. So when we have a friend or a coworker or maybe even a loved one who tells us that they're overwhelmed and they're stressing out, we don't overreact and respond with apathy. Because according to Brene Brown, and she is a well-established thought leader who has written many books about vulnerability and courage, she says that empathy is communicating that incredible healing message of you're not alone. And everyone wants to feel like they are not alone in this world. But we have to inject empathy. It's important because we need connection and we need relationships to get what we want and what we need. Can someone put a one in the chat saying this is yes, or put a yes? This is what we need. When we want something, we have to build the right connections and we have to have the right relationships. Don't forget that that type of empathy that we express or experience matters as well. Because when we are lacking empathy, which is called apathy, We may be experiencing isolation. We feel alone. There's communication gaps and breakdowns. We have troubles at work and with the people that are in our inner circle. We have some health problems. We start having argumentative attitudes. We blaming others for our shortcomings and for what we don't have. And we lose out on our money goals, which was, again, money is just not money. It's all the other things that we speak to: power, status, love, joy, those types of things. That's the kind of lens that I'm looking through. And I know that's the lens that you're looking through too. So now when we think of empathy, right? It's like a teeter totter kind of experience. You are you don't want to go far into somebody else's psyche and take on their whole persona, and you're also risk losing yourself. And if you avoid being authentic and you're not really genuinely sincere and interested in the person's experience, you're really missing out on an integral part of the human experience. But not all situations are the same. Just like not all types of empathy are the same. But any type of empathy takes emotional fitness and it takes practice, y'all. Just like balancing, it's a balancing act. So when you find that sweet spot where you can empathize effectively, whether you're navigating your workplace or at home or trying to comfort a loved one, it is absolutely worth the work. Now, this is how I understand the empathy, and I wanted to you all to have this visualization here. Cognitive empathy is about the desire, all right, to understand. It's simply knowing how someone feels and what they might be thinking. Emotional empathy is that desire to feel when you're feeling physically along with the other person as though you're mirroring their emotions. And then compassionate empathy is when we not only understand how a person is feeling and we're feeling them, but we are moved, y'all, to help if they need. And this is all about having the desire to help and support. So, there are many ways that we can become more empathetic, especially in these unprecedented times where there's so much going on, where we don't give ourselves enough grace and we are not giving other people enough grace. And this is just being mindful of where we're at. So here's some ways that we can implement in our daily lives starting today. Okay, because I believe in solutions. All right. So we can again assess our wellness state. Okay. First and foremost, where are we at and what's happening? Because our issues can compound the other issues. And then before we carrying all kinds of luggage, and that is not the state of being that we want to be in. Then we got to check our attitude. Check our attitude first. Maybe remember people's names. Sometimes we have difficulty of remembering who's who, right? And then when they come to you, you be like, you are, what's your name? All right. We can figure out how to find out what people's names are by asking some other questions to jog our memory. We have to give full attention. We have to be curious and ask some powerful questions, such as, you don't seem yourself today. Would you like to take a break and talk about it? Or, you sound upset. Is that because of something I did? I found these questions to be valuable. All right. And I asked them the follow on, let me know if I can help anyway. Even if I didn't cause anything, how can I help? And we can focus on our similarities versus differences. We can examine our biases, and we can also listen, but also share. So take out your piece of paper and write down at least one or two of these empathy solutions that you can implement in your daily interactions to, again, achieve the goals you selected. All right, that you said you wanted to do. So put in the chat one or two of these things that you struggle with that you can start to implement and really pay attention to build the right connections and the with the right people. So I'm looking at the chat right now. Go ahead and put it in the chat as to which of those two. Okay, so giving full attention. Yes, and it's so hard. And I know you have a young baby And it's hard to give everything, all your attention to, someone and when you're trying to do everything. Being curious, yes, and asking very powerful questions. Examine your biases, yes, because we all have them. We all have them. And I know people say, "Oh, I'm not." We do. We do. And so we have to assess it and see, hey, is this something that is impeding in my way? Yes, examine your bias. Leslie put that in the chat. Absolutely. Give full attention. Yes. Again, we're distracted and interrupted so many times a day. It's very hard to focus. So that's why here are some solutions, and you pick in one or two that maybe you can start really paying attention and putting some action to. Okay. So everyone good? Put it two in the chat if this is still helpful for you so far. All right. So I know that you all are still here and with me. Yes, 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 yes. I see it. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Y'all are, I love it. I love it. So, in March of 2020, just like everyone else, I received notification that COVID-19 had arrived to the base. Okay. Now we all had gotten the word that it arrived to the States, but we were just anxiously waiting to see when our first positive COVID case was. All right. And I remember sitting in a meeting with my boss, who at the time was a wing commander, and he turned to me and he said, "Our job is even more important than it has ever been in our whole entire Air Force career." And he had already been in for 24 years, and I was in for like at the 28-year mark. And I was like, what? But he says, because not only do we need to make sure that we protect our people, but we also have to make sure that our number one weapons asset, which in the middle, y'all, is the bomber aircraft that I had to make decisions about with my commanders. And so we had to support our nation anytime and anywhere. So for 2.5 years, we were just creating strategy without a playbook. We didn't have rules per se. I mean, we had rules, but not about the pandemic. We didn't have any guidelines and policies, instructions. We had to navigate through that pandemic. Then we had the social and racial unrest, and then we had significant base mission changes. But we leveraged, mastered focus, empathy, and self respect to take care of the 8,000 people assigned to the base, the bomber aircraft, and the military bases assets to answer our nation call. So the point to all this is not to just to show you, glimpses of my career. It's how we can use these interpersonal skills in our home, business, career, communities to bring out the best in any given situation. And yes, that aircraft is sweet, Leslie. And I'll tell you what, I don't get excited about too many aircrafts. But this one right here, when that baby takes off of that runway and fires up those engines and they are firing in that back, you can't help to feel a certain way. So, and the capabilities is off the charts. It's off the charts. So we are being taken care of as a nation. All right, when that thing is in the air. It reminds me of the aircraft they used in Maverick. Oh yeah. This is a big baby, the bombers. So it was a sweet assignment too, without the cold. Okay, so when retired Master Sergeant Letitia Bright, she also attended my 4-week mentorship course. She not only wanted to focus on her transitional goals from the Air Force, but she also discovered how to be more empathetic to herself and her family. And she gained more self-respect and discovered who she truly is. And so she dig deeper into the Slay mantra. And then she just found herself and she emailed me and she was like, this is absolutely amazing. She's doing great things, got a great job, and she is seeking more and more of her higher self. And I absolutely love her journey. So let's discuss self respect, y'all. Okay. Because the truth is, there are many different types of people in this world, some of whom may try to take advantage and manipulate us, and some that may treat us badly. It's just the honest truth. When we tolerate, though, these types of behaviors, we are showing that we have an unhealthy level of self respect for ourselves. How can we demand respect from others if we often lack respect for ourselves? You know, I am I am not sure how this happens, but it does. All right? It does. A lot of factors play into this. But when we lose respect for ourselves, we may be acting out, we become impulsive, we may become irresponsible, maybe self-destructive to ourselves. We are dreaming less, which I want to dream more. If you're with me, you know you want to dream more. We do excessive self-sacrifice. We're being defined by others. And again, we're losing out on the money. All right. Money for, like you said, it's for all kinds of different types of 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 reasons or ways that we can, build ourselves up. So just want to make sure I get this right side. So it's time to try. Okay, so Leslie, and we are here with family, y'all. This is all family with us tonight, so I can be very open and discuss this because I think all of us are into the acronym. So the acronyms: try. T for time to, R, respect, and Y, yourself. It's time to try. We have to make sure, all right, that we continue to show how others need to treat us in our daily life. So, what are some solutions, okay, that we can implement in our daily interactions today to achieve our goals? Well, first of all, as you know, it's going to come up again. This assess your wellness state. And I'm going to continue to say that because I know some people are off a little bit and like, oh my goodness, I'm not getting enough sleep. I might, be a little bit drained. I feel like my environment is not favorable for me to thrive in. I don't like my work and what I'm doing in there. I mean, all these things need to be assessed, all right, and somehow tweaked so that way you could feel your best. So we can also do that self-care, be around positive people, love our whole selves, know our worth, and then add tax on top of that. I absolutely love that. Define our own values, set boundaries, and spend money on the things that are making us happy. So out of this list, all right, take out your piece of paper again and write down at least one or two of these or put them in the chat for me that you can implement. Which ones are you looking to do? And I'm looking here at the chat for you there. I know y'all still hanging in here with me, and I absolutely love that you're here. We will be closing, wrapping this up soon, but go ahead and put in the chat, y'all, which one or two of these items that you are going to be looking to implement into your, okay, define own values. Yes. Love me more. Be around positive people. Set boundaries. Set boundaries. Yes, absolutely. So, um, that's awesome. Okay. So, because that's really where we're going to get to the accountability plan. So we talked about like, okay, how do we start to do this? How we kind of put this all together, all right, and package that up. So again, okay, um, this is another one of an Air Force, and I say Air Force because I'm getting a lot of women from the Air Force that are still reaching out to me, and she attended the 4-week mentorship course. She decided to begin her journey and she wanted to master all three interpersonal skills. She began to focus on her career goals and she gained more empathy and self respect, y'all. She is on fire. She is winning awards. She's putting herself out there. She's sticking to her goals. She's actually really showing up and standing up for herself and putting herself first, which she was not doing before. And, when people start to do that after they, oh yeah, spend more money on happiness. Love it, love it. When people start to do that and they see their possibilities of them be able to really, really buckle down and find out how they can best get at their goals. So it's now time to establish our plans. Okay, here's accountability plans for achieving your goals. Now, all of us know, okay, all of us know that we must hold ourselves accountable if we want to achieve extraordinary success in life. Not just ordinary, extraordinary. Okay, because without someone or some kind of system to monitor your progress, you'll never do it when things become tough. For example, if you committed to going and getting up at 6 o'clock to work out at the gym, you know me in this fitness thing, by 7 o'clock in the morning, when that alarm goes off, all right, um, at 6 p.m., do you get up if it's raining outside or what are you doing? All right. So you're committed. You get up at 6. You want to get to the gym by 7. You get up at 6 and it's raining outside. What are you doing? Okay. Well, most people will choose to continue to sleep because it's too tempting to leave their warm and comfortable bed. But if your coach is waiting for you in the gym, do you think you'll continue to sleep more? Now you know, and I know what that answer to the question is, right? That's a absolutely not. Again, I'm losing money on the table. I'm either gonna get myself to the gym or I'm gonna call them and say, hey, I don't think I could do this anymore, right? And so with this accountability plan, research shows how accountability increases your goal achievement rate by 76%, right? So we want to increase our chances of getting what we want and need. And we can do this by any of these certain conditions here, right? So we can create a work schedule. We can create a measurement system. We track what we're doing. We can build a supportive environment, review and record your goals, get an accountability partner, or invest in a coach or mentor. So put in the chat which one of these things you are doing right now or you want to do in the future. So if you're doing it right now, just say now and you just write out which one you're doing right now. If you are like, I don't have anything, just say I don't have anything, but I want to try. You can put try this, right? Try creating a measurement system. I want to try build a supportive environment. Whatever it is, right? So I'm gonna look at the chat here because the lag time is real in here. Need a measurement system, right? Try an accountability partner. Create a new work schedule as a full-time business owner. Yes. Yes, queens. All these things we need to put in place at least one thing in here. This is not overhaul, but when we create something that we can track, when we can do something every single day and really see the consistency in there, then we will find ourselves really, really getting into a groove and we can create the plan we want. So, what's your plan? Okay. Well, your plan really is what we just went over for the past 45 minutes. All right. So, I want you to take about a few minutes to write out a few sentences on how you're going to start integrating focus, empathy, self respect in your daily interactions to achieve your success based on the information you all received tonight. So, you picked one or two things from your one or two things from each category. You put the focus, you pick one or two things from empathy, you pick one or two things from self respect. Then you picked the thing, the system, the process, if you will, of how you're going to get that accomplished. All right. So everyone should have something, right? Something in your queue, if you will, of what you can start to see yourself doing in the next 6 months to a year. I can guarantee you write it down, you start applying the techniques that you saw and listening to this, and you are going to be one step closer to achieving what you're trying to achieve. Is that good, y'all? Is everybody still hanging? And everybody's kind of like getting their wheels turning in here of what they could possibly be doing and how they can start moving forward? Yes, Dana says yes. Yes. Hopefully this is going to, yes, Dee says yes. Hopefully this is really good. Okay, awesome. This will help you, okay? Because I'm a simple girl. I don't I don't think in mass ways. I just go one thing at a time and I go look at it and I'm like, okay, that's how I'm going to move the needle. I'm going to start with this. Okay. So Yolanda is here with me on the Zoom call tonight. And I tell you, she attended my course. All right. She also took what she learned and applied the skills to leverage her dream of becoming a realtor. And she went and got her real estate license. And now she has more confidence in her new career. All right. She is slaying it, y'all, because all she needed to do was get a little support. And that is what I'm offering. So as we're wrapping up today's webinar, what is one takeaway you're walking away with tonight? Put it in the chat for everyone to gain some insight. What are you walking away from this webinar tonight? One takeaway. We talked about a lot, but just one little thing that you hadn't really heard before or you haven't really put enough attentions to. And go ahead and write it into the chat. Commit to focus. Yes. So Dana has commit to focus. Who else has one takeaway that you're going to take away from tonight's webinar? Anyone else? Get focused. I need to commit to focus. Yeah, I think that should be a standalone webinar in itself. Let's just talk about focus. Compassionate empathy, yes, which is it's a combined, right? You have to have both cognitive, that understanding, and you also have emotional together with the feeling. But it's got to be where it's a sweet spot, right? Where you can say, okay, I'm not taking on your stuff. And now I can actually do something to help you. You said do one task at a time. So let's just for just a 1 minute here before we move on. Doing one task at a time. So when I in my younger day, I was always, very proud to say that I was a multitasker. I mean, I thought I was handling all the things all at one time until I got much older and I was like, I'm doing half the stuff that I was supposed to be doing in all those tasks. And so I was like, I've got to really narrow it down and stop chasing after this shiny penny and then the squirrels and whatnot, right? So we do one task at a time. And then you will see you're gaining more time for the things that you really want to do. So since y'all been hanging with me, right, for almost an hour and you knew this was coming, okay? And if it wasn't coming, then my mentors in here would be like, where is it at? Because all y'all are here are my mentors. All right. I want to share with you what I'm offering you to support on your journey to achieve your dreams, goals, and aspirations, roles, or positions. All right. And I believe in just having these conversations offline. And this is a signature slated successful week mentorship course, which is normally $497, but today for $297 for you or someone you know who may benefit from this course. All right. And this special price is offered for the next 3 days. And during this course, we'll meet once a week for about a week and cover the basic foundational slave framework. So first, we're going to discover how to stay ready to be ready for expected and unexpected opportunities to reach these goals. The second week, we'll discover how to lead out loud by increasing your leadership power and your influence to boldly lead in an uncomfortable place and space. The third week, we'll discover how to leverage the family concept to build those connections. And then in the fourth week, we'll discover how to step up to the challenge to overcome quitting on yourself and the values and the goals that are most important to you. And all these sessions are on the Zoom platform. So, of course, Like the studious student that I am and the learner that I am, I will be dropping the actual link into the chat so you can take a look at that. And if you have any questions or you want to discuss any additional support, you can please contact me. All you know how to find me. So please contact me. Um, Here is my information. Also, if you have your phone and you just want to scan the QR code, you can scan for all the other Slated Success events and the offers that I have, or that Slated Success has, because this is a move and train, y'all. And so definitely trying to reach and impact as many women as I possibly can. So this concludes the Interpersonal Effectiveness Strategies webinar. Thank you all for investing your time, your attention, your energy, and for my very first webinar. All right, so let me know how I can best support you and keep on slaying, my queens, until you can't slay no more. And I'm going to stop at the actual recording.